anybody else on this planet know you, right? Gideon was the worst. I mean, I don't really know how to really describe the worst word more than the absolute worst. I really want y'all to get a grasp of the worst thing that you can possibly think of. The worst trash, the worst filth, the absolute worst. The guy who hit on you, girls, for y'all, you know, the guy that like y'all, who y'all hate that he even like y'all, like he a bum, he musty, his teeth is yellow, he just bum, right? Or dudes like the girl who like you, she just stinks, she don't take care of herself, she don't ever do nothing good about herself. And her whole family is trash. He was the worst. Gideon was the worst of the worst set of people in this whole area, in the tribe of Israel. They were the worst, but he was the worst, okay? But God called him and said, he came to Gideon and said, Gideon, my mighty warrior, my son of valor. I think that's what the word was that he called him. And Gideon said to him, he was like, who, me? You talking to me? Right? He said, who, me? You really talking to me? So right there, point blank, Gideon was exposed. He was vulnerable to change the way he thought about himself, to transform it over to the way God thought about him, right? So he had to totally become, if he was going to be this warrior, this mighty man of valor, he had to become totally transformed in his thinking to really believe that God can do anything through him. But before he could believe it, he put God through all these raggedy tests. And once he put God through all these tests, Gideon finally believed. He got his faith up to believe, and God started moving in his life. So he got enough faith to believe God to form a tribe or form an army. He gathered 22,000 people. Can you imagine? Everybody else, everybody who he gathered knew he was ragged. Everybody who he gathered knew he was ragged, except for Gideon. Once he got a hold of the word of God and what God was doing to his life and had him meditating on what I can do for you, what I think about you, he started really having that manifest in his life and in his mind. And he conceived it fully, his mind changed. So he became, man, what's the right word? I want to say susceptible, but that ain't the right word. He became, I guess just transformed, I'm going to just keep using the same word. He became transforming his thinking in his mind to become reliant upon everything God wanted him to do. Everything God wanted him to do, he was able to become transformed enough to be bold. That's the word, bold and courageous enough to believe that God can mount this army and we're going to do this thing. So he grabbed 22,000 people and they went down. The Lord gave him a couple tests to do. First he said, let me read this. In verse 4 it says, and the Lord